We're back with JGOD, and he's here to tell us what's going on in his mind with Warzone right now.
With yesterday's video, I thought it was worth having a
see.
little bit of a chat, a little bit calmer. Obviously, that video was a little bit more of a crash out after playing for 12 hours, running into multiple issues, and kind of going through a bunch of stuff. But I want to give out a few different ideas to talk about kind of like the state of the game and kind of the direction of the game and kind of what the cadence is going to be of videos, because there's a lot of issues that it comes out. Obviously, we're primarily a Warzone channel, even though people say, oh, it's a Call of Duty channel. We don't really cover multiplayer other than the exception of maybe when the game first drops. Zombies, we don't really touch much on, even though I do stream quite a bit of zombies and probably have more playtime in zombies than multiplayer and Warzone combined this year. I would almost bet on it. But regardless of that, our content, that's not why people come here. I post a zombies video. You guys don't care. You guys are here for Warzone, and that's fair. But
do you think he wants to post other content, but because the most not what am I trying to say here? With people coming to watch his videos, right? They're primarily here to see what is the TDK on weapons, right? The best builds. When he does spectating or anything, he gives his input, so people care about that stuff. But when he talks about anything more or less than that, it's like, we're not really interested. Just talk about Warzone more, which kind of sucks because for him, right, he wants to do other stuff, but he can't, which means that he just has to continue doing Warzone stuff, whether it's in a good state, bad state, or even a medium state.
That also means I have a responsibility to cover the state of the game.
Oh, shoot.
And at least kind of where it's at, regardless if it's good or bad. In a perfect world,
I should have waited.
There wouldn't be certain issues and I'd be able to just gas up the game. And as people say in the comments, even in the last video, which was essentially just bashing all the issues, which are unacceptable, people were like, oh, you're just glazing the game. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
Not really. He's
like,
being honest.
I don't even know if they're just doing it to troll at this point, because there's no way your brain can function and think I've been glazing the game for two or 3 years. It's had consistent issues since Warzone 2. I think there was a bit of a recovery in Warzone 3 or MW3's life cycle. The game, I think, was pretty well supported in multiplayer and Warzone overall, and it kind of got dialed in. And then some changes happened with this integration, and it seemed like multiplayer is doing well. There are some obviously issues that you can be covered, but it's way more minimal. I know Exclusive Ace does a pretty good job of covering the multiplayer stuff, and then zombies, they get a new map for basically every season, and that's kind of enough. But when it comes to Warzone, there's different expectations with it being a free-to-play game, and the cadence of the updates and the way things should work. And there's a little bit of a fatigue that happens from year after year. And this is kind of what we've experienced. Is he talking about
everyone or just
every integration? There's been hiccups, and it's sad that we expect there to be hiccups.
With the fatigue.
Even with Verdansk 84, there were some issues that ended up getting settled pretty quickly. I remember you couldn't reload with any of the Cold War guns, and there was other bugs that happened. It's not like there were the game's nostalgia, rose tinted glasses, that those things didn't exist then. It's just that they did exist then, and then they existed again when Warzone 2 happened, and then it existed again when Warzone MW3 happened. And it's kind of like there's a fatiguing factor where it's like, when is enough enough?
Okay.
Like, I know if I had worked at the studio, I'm sure the devs, there's a certain level of embarrassment that comes with that, because based off what I've been told is there's like a different version of the game that they build off of that's not necessarily linked. So when it copies over,
so they're not sharing the exact version of the game they need to. They're sharing a base version of something that isn't even the right version. So it's like saying, here's a 2011 Chevy Silverado, right? And here's the 2020 Chevy Silverado. But if you want to copy it, we're going to give you not the newest one, we're going to give you the oldest one. So every fix and nook and cranny issues that they've had, they're giving it to the other person to deal with because they've already sorted it with the 2020 version. So why are they not just sharing across the board what they have and have not fixed and giving that version to the next developer? It doesn't make sense.
Issues unexpected, but it is what it is. End of the day, they shouldn't happen for as big as the company is. and hopefully they're able to get the resources they can, which I don't know if that's the case, because you look at the charts, you look at Steam, it looks like the game is dead as it can be dead. But then you look at PlayStation and Xbox, it's the number one selling game all year, every year, all month, every month, at least until GTA comes out, and then that'll be the game of the year forever. Because they've been working on it for like 2 decades or however long they've been working on that. But regardless of all that, I think the spirit of the content is that we all want the game to be better. Obviously, there's certain frustrations that happen and build up over time. I know you as players, a lot of you do not play other games, and that's a little bit unfortunate because there are a lot of good games out there.
I've had to switch up my games from COD to Marvel Rivals as of recently, like the last, 4 weeks I've been playing Rivals, and I've been enjoying it. Ranked play, I've been hard stuck just because, when you queue with randoms, it's not really the easiest thing. But I figure it's something new, it's something different. So that's been interesting. But I'm willing to try other games. If there's other games that people do want me to see, just drop a comment to Twitch, let me know. But COD is in a rough state for anyone to continue playing without losing your mind.
Me, this year, I've already played multiple games. We played a little bit of Path of Exile 2. We beat Slay the Spire, the Indiana Jones. I didn't really vibe with it that much, but I did play the new one. It was on Game Pass, so that was nice. You get a bunch of free games that way. And then I'm currently about halfway through Dark Souls 1. So there's a lot of other games to play. And that's not even the ones that are multiplayer that I'm just not interested in. I'm not interested in Delta Force. I'm not interested in Marvel Rivals. I'm not interested in Fortnite. Okay. There's a bunch of other games that you can play depending on your interest. But regardless, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't when it comes to being a content creator. If I complain about anything, it's like, oh, bro, you're just hating. If I say anything positive, then it's like, bro, you're just glazing, you're gassing how much they're paying you.
It's a double-edged sword.
And this was very evident if you go look at the Jack Frags video that I reacted to. I don't really react to other people's videos too much on this channel. The second channel we went through a stretch with that. But for our channel, all it came down to is I don't really do that often. So when I did it, I started the video, and I disagree with Jack Frags on Omni Movement. I like it. I know there's a bunch of people that like it, but I also know there's a bunch of people that hate it. And it's more of a settings issue, which that's on the devs for not making the settings better because you shouldn't accidentally dive, which is the biggest complaint that people had. But people said just because I like it that I'm paid by. No, I like Omni Movement. I like the MW3 movement, and I like movements prior. It's just kind of how it goes. But regardless of all that, there are other things that are issues, and there's other.
I think when you put it into perspective, right? Slide canceling was definitely a skill thing, right? But when you look at the bigger picture with Modern Warfare, or not Modern Warfare 2 and then Warzone 2, right? With no slide canceling and you can only slide or dolphin dive, technically that's a skill thing. And when you couldn't slide and you couldn't dolphin dive, it became a skill factor in can you move quick enough, react enough, and shoot quicker than anyone else on the map. So that it's a perspective on perspective.
Other things that are probably issues, but I don't really care about. Like, if you equip a bundle, if you buy a blueprint and then you equip it in the store, and then you build your own class and you go into the game, it actually costs more from the buy station. It costs like double or whatever the case is. Instead of 2,500, you get 6,000. So you kind of pay to lose. And for me, it's like I don't use them, so I don't really care. But it's still a problem, right? Like there's multiple other issues that you could agree to disagree on. You don't think that Go should work while moving, or you don't think that heartbeat sensors should be a field upgrade instead of that. You don't like the satchels. Maybe you love the satchels.
Yeah, it's
and today there's a lot of the baseline stuff that I could jump on the game like I did today and play it. And I played for about an hour and I was having fun. But in my first match, I run into an issue where after the update, it's in the patch. It says, hey, we're going to fix this issue, this bug, where that if you pick up a gun, you won't lose your gun or whatever the case is. I go and I'm trying to pick up a field upgrade. And then when I go and grab it, I lose my gun. And this was my first match. And then I went on to play about 4 or 5 other matches. And no, I didn't run into any other bugs. So I was having fun. I did have a blender game, which is pretty normal on Rebirth. You kind of just get kind of caught in the blender if your teammates aren't shooting, and you're playing with random, so you can't really expect much. But at the end of the day, I was having fun, but that bug was like something I had to run into. If maybe that match didn't happen and then I had 4, then I'd be like, man, there's no issues. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there where you're like, man, I'm not running into these issues that everyone's running into. But the sample size of a lot of people is going to be able to find these issues. And I think the game overall, like, if it worked and there weren't any bugs and there weren't any crashes and there weren't any ricochet anti-cheat issues, the game's pretty good.
Yes.
Like the Warzone version, maybe it's not as good as the nostalgia version because you want your vehicles and whatever. And it could be better, but overall it would be good because I jump on and have fun and I can play. But I run into an issue and I'm like, I'm going to go jump on Dark Souls and go finish my run through over there. So it's not perfect and it never will be perfect. And most games aren't perfect because they can always be improved on if you're really nitpicking. But these aren't even to the point where they need to be nitpicked. These are like just blatant issues where if I'm playing a game, you lose your gun.
Yeah, like, that's weird.
That's kind of like a big deal. I might as well back out, close the game, uninstall, right? And people were like, well, why do you post content and blah, blah, blah? Like, we built kind of a community for several different ways. Even before Warzone came out, we did informative news, loadout, all those types of things, tips, tricks, tutorial, whatever. And then we were already over 100,000 subs and Warzone came out, COVID. There was a pop off. There was a niche, and I felt that hole.
Yep.
Of a lot of people that watch the content, and regardless if you like me or my opinions, you're here for whatever reason. I don't know why. If you don't like me and you're here, then you still for some reason want to know what I have to say. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
I think it's weird with that he says that because it's true. Like people like when I was grinding Black Ops. Cold War, I'm pretty sure it's Cold War weapons. And I dabbled into Warzone a little bit, but I was grinding Cold War weapons, and there's that one LMG that had just come out, and it was beaming. Okay, that's the next gun I gotta level up, right? And even in my lobby, right, with teammates, they were coming like, yeah, that boy JGOD, I remember it specifically. Like, they literally go, the boy JGOD. All right, he was saying that this LMG is like really good, really fast, and I got played the game. I swear to God, I can't make this up. And it showed up right at the end, right? And it's like, see that gun? That's the gun that JGOD's talking about. It was like, okay, so everyone knows why they watch someone, right? JGOD's full of information. He's a smart guy. He can come up with information for you to know about. He'll give you the meta weapons. He'll give you the meta loadouts, and other people, they're like, nah, it's not really the meta. But some people who you may watch may be getting their information from JGOD himself. So you're literally getting your information from other information, and it comes back to the source, right? It's weird how it works.
Quit watching. Like, there's other people that cover news too. It's okay. And one of the main sources for information,
right. You can watch whoever
news,
you want.
updates,
it doesn't matter. It's
kind
all
of the
good.
state of the game. And loadout stuff. When they actually do update the weapons, we can cover that stuff. Obviously, we don't have anything right now because they didn't really change much. And based off a couple tweets from Raven, it sounds like they're going to be handling more information now.
Hopefully.
Handle a little bit more transparency. I don't know. But regardless, they said they're buffing the PPSH and they're nerfing the XM4. And I'd rather save a loadout video for them. Instead of posting a video now, 3 days, they change it, and then I got to do another one. Doesn't really make much sense. I'll just give you a good one when it's time to be done. But regardless, there's a lot of people that watch this channel that haven't played the game in 3 months, 6 months, a year.
But they still want to keep up
They check out the videos.
Yep.
And I'm sure you're in the comment section. You'll say, yeah, that's me. But
that's me.
Realistically, there are people that watch the channel, and they do not play the game, and they like what I have to say, or they're trying to just stay up to date, because when I give that video that says Warzone is back, which hopefully I'll be able to do at some point, maybe not. But if I do that video, they will go, all right, I'm going to go check it out and I'm going to play it, and I hope I have fun. And if I have fun, and then I'm going to invite my friends, and then hopefully they have fun, and then we're playing again. I mean, the party feature's all busted right now and a lot of those issues. So it's like, even those types of things are holding people back from being able to be encouraged to just stay on the game because their friends are on. There's a lot of those things where it's not like I'm going to just stop making content because the game's bad.
Yeah.
Like what? Like, oh, you should just go play. I'm playing plenty of other games. And even back during peak Verdansk, I wasn't no life in the game. I would spend 7-8 hours testing in Plunder. Now, luckily, there's a lot of in-game data. There's True Game Data's website, plus there's data mining with sim.gg. So it's simplified that part. So instead of me 8 hours in Plunder and then, not even maybe jumping on to play the game, now I'm actually probably playing a little bit more than I would then if you actually count the playtime, because I jump on and I don't have to test anything. I just jump on and I'm like, cool. I get to experience the game for what it is. It's an unfortunate situation to be in as a creator. I think it's an unfortunate situation to be in as a viewer. And I think regardless if you play the game or not, it is a problem. So regardless of why you watch this video, if you made it to this point, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.
All right, man.
Okay. If you agree or disagree, right, just know that the video will always be there, right? People have their opinions. You just got to go with it. It is what it is, but COD is in a rough state, and I've been saying it for the last couple weeks, and we just gotta flow with it. Gotta let it fly.